Things were simpler back in the old days, right? Everything was less complicated way back when. Folks would just rise with the sun, go to work in the fields, eat simple, wholesome fare all day long, and sleep soundly that night before doing it all again the next day. No 24/7 social media, no daily commute, no hard choices about which ethnicity of cuisine to eat today, none of the stresses of modern life, and of course, just the one, simple, easy to understand, infallible consensus mechanism. Ah yes, good old proof of work. Once the answer to all our problems, now in the process of getting cancelled by environmentalists and made to look old and unwieldy by proof of stake and all the other flashy new kids on the block. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. Well, quite. But not everyone takes the relentless march of progress lying down. Like those who give up whole weekends to reenact historic battles or antique collectors or EOS holders, some folks cling on to how life used to be back in the good old days. Get on with it. Yes, get over there. Sorry, all of which brings us to Ethereum now. When the merge finally took place last month, most of us were excited about the move to proof of stake and the beginning of a new era for the biggest ecosystem in crypto. Most, but not all. The merge, in fact, spelled bad news for many, particularly Ethereum miners, whose main revenue source evaporated the moment the switchover took place. Even in the cutthroat world of crypto, having your entire business model upended in one fell swoop is bound to sting. Then of course, there are those who, with some justification, believe wholeheartedly that proof of work is the only true consensus mechanism, and the proof of stake is just waiting to be corrupted by wealthy institutions and bent to their evil ends. And to be fair, there are lots of reasons to love proof of work, even if it does use the same amount of energy as United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. Well, take your pick. So could these folks unite in the face of the merge and make sure a good hard fork didn't go to waste? Of course they could. This is crypto. As the merge got ever closer and the crypto community began to realize that yes, it was an actual fact going to go ahead this time, the clamor around how to preserve a version of Ethereum that's still used. Proof of work grew ever louder. The age of ETH PoW was upon us. Now the movement was spearheaded by a powerful Ethereum miner of end-of-level boss proportions named Chandler Goff, who previously supported other contentious hard forks like Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum Classic. More about that later. Now, Chandler understandably wasn't too happy about the prospect of seeing all his mining rigs being rendered into e-waste and decided to take action. "I fork Ethereum once, I fork it again," he tweeted. And he meant it. Chandler's bullishness notwithstanding, however, it quickly became clear that support for the proof-of-work chain was not going to be all that forthcoming. Stablecoin issuers Circle and Tether both signaled their support for proof-of-stake, as did Oracle provider Chainlink and many other projects and personalities across the crypto industry. Nevertheless, in the wake of the merge, the old proof-of-work chain was continued and Ethereum proof-of-work or Ethereum PoW is now a thing with its own website's own Twitter account and yes, its own coin, which has absolutely surged from an opening price of over $40 to a current price of around $7. Hey, it's a bear market. So the question here is, was the decision to fork Ethereum and continue mining the old proof-of-work chain one taken because Ethereum miners wanted to keep making money, or was it a genuine attempt by some true believers to maintain what they saw as Ethereum's integrity? Was it a financial decision or a philosophical one? Well, there are absolutely no prizes for guessing that. There was undoubtedly a bit of both involved here, a blatant attempt to keep the miners' gravy train running was tempered by the fact that some in the Ethereum community believe proof of work to be more secure and thus safer to use than proof of stake. And as I said, they do have a point. The fact that the likes of Tether and Circle were arguably instrumental in putting to bed any, albeit faint hopes that Ethereum PoW might gain some serious traction perfectly illustrates some of the primary concerns that exist around proof of stake. The fear that proof of like Ethereum could in the future be taken over by powerful entities like these and others is a real one, and Vitalik himself has acknowledged as much. That isn't to say that proof of work isn't itself vulnerable to corruption, especially if the number of miners remains low. But there is a good argument that proof of work offers a potential level of security that proof of stake must work hard to achieve. So in conclusion, it's hard to see Ethereum PoW. Yes, I am going to keep doing that until the end of the video, gaining any significant adoption in the future. The Ethereum community has not embraced it, and unless we see a serious corruption of proof of stake by institutions or governments take place, that isn't likely to change. There's also the uncomfortable fact that, according to Chandler himself, most ETH PoW miners are likely to go bust unless they can access free electricity, which doesn't exactly bode well for a project in part designed to keep miners afloat. And it's not even like Ethereum PoW is the only proof-of-work rival to Ethereum anyway, because Ethereum Classic has existed since the 2017 hard fork that took place in the wake of the DAO hack, even if Charles Hoskinson has flipped its Twitter account over to become the official one of his Ergoside project, which is quite frankly a subject that this video cannot possibly do justice to. Maybe next time. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. If that is indeed the case, then please do like, subscribe, share and hey, even consider forking it and trying to do a better job yourself. You've got a better chance than Ethereum PoW has anyway.